Welcome to the Food on Demand podcast, where we dish up insights on the future of restaurants relating to off-premises operations and the overall digital dining experience. And we explore how this dynamic industry is reshaping the way we eat. I'm Bernadette Heyer, Managing Editor.
And I'm Adam Wahlberg, Associate Editor. Food on Demand is your exclusive media source here to help restaurant operators meet digital guests where they are. Be sure to check out our Off-Premises University webinar series that's now live and subscribe to our weekly newsletter.
Yes, please do. Also, nominations are open for our Outstanding Operators program. We kicked that off for the first time last year, where we took in nominations for a ton of different restaurant operators, and we selected 20 who are excelling or being innovative at their off-premises operations. And the winners receive a feature article in Food on Demand, a free pass to the Food on Demand conference coming up May through 5th through 7th at the Bellagio, Las Vegas. And they also will have some on-stage recognition at that conference, as well as receive a charitable donation to the organization of your choice. So please go ahead to our website and nominate who you think is a deserving, outstanding operator. Now, before I dive into our guest interview today with Gracie Prasanson, Vice President of Sales at Jason's Deli, it's time for our Quick Bites segment once again, where we share what's been sizzling in our kitchens lately. So, Adam, take it away.
Oh, thank you, Bernadette. A piece I recently worked on that I found super interesting is I got a chance to visit with the Chief Technology Officer at Perkins, that family dining brand that is so cozy, and they're now trying to freshen things up to appeal to a kind of a younger consumer that's more digital friendly and kind of more in the grab and grow crowd. And they're doing this. The reason I was talking to the Chief Technology Officer and not the CEO is he played a central role in designing this new prototype, this new store prototype that's very small and optimized for kind of pickup and drive-through, much more than what they had in their traditional stores. There's a new store, they're calling it Griddle and Go. Small, a lot of lanes for pickup, a lot of spots for getting stuff out the door. Is set up to seat just 65 customers, which is much smaller, but it's got digital menu boards, it's got kiosks, it's got all kinds of things that they didn't have in their traditional store. Now, what I found interesting in this interview is he was pretty candid about saying he knows the brand is not known for being super tech forward. In fact, they're playing catch up, and he mentioned IHOP. And what IHOP has had success with IHOP Express. Mm-hmm. And they're trying to get in on that action. And IHOP Express, I've seen them in airports, and they're trying to do the same with Griddle and Go. Place them in restaurants, place them on college campuses, hospitals, things like that. So this is a big step for them. They have never done something like this. I asked them where they're launching this, and they have just one so far, up in Montreal. And he didn't have a second one. So I think they have a lot of high hopes that this could grow and be a new kind of sleeker part of what Perkins has to offer and fit snugly for the on the move crowd. And we'll see. I think it'll be great to follow them. I think it makes sense for them to do this. I mean, I'm sure their demographic is old geezers like me, and they're wanting to expand their consumer base into younger folks.
Yeah, definitely something we keep an eye on, which is kind of this rethinking restaurants trend that we've been seeing among some QSRs and other brands, adapting to the next generation for those on-the-go guests, like you said, implementing digital menu boards, kiosks, and also just smaller formats in general is what we are seeing pop up as consumers continue to crave convenience of delivery and on-the-go food. So great. Well, thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
For my quick bites, well, first off, a quick update from our last podcast, where we talked about wanting to see some sidewalk delivery robots in Minnesota. They have arrived. They are now at the University of Minnesota campus, and Adam and I will be going to check those out soon, so we will keep you updated. But my other newsy item is just a little quick tidbit on Uber Eats has added a new list feature for food recommendations based on users. So users can create this menu list as well as they have an influencer aspect to it where they're having some known influencers also create lists so you can see what their favorite spots are to eat in that area. Now, this is rolling out in New York and Chicago with more cities on the way. And with just a few taps in the app, you can see these lists. And these lists that these users create, like consumers, can also go public and they might be featured on Uber Eats home feed, which is interesting because often, you can become on a most loved or a top eats list on some of these third-party delivery apps like a DoorDash, Uber Eats, or Grubhub all have similar lists like that, which happen through the algorithm. It's often based on who has the best reviews, who gets ordered from the most, and these lists are created. But this is the first time that we can see what users are creating and know where they really are going locally if you wanted to check that out and or share with your friends or family. So as we know, visibility on these third-party apps are so important to attract consumers. These third-party apps are not only delivery fulfillment, but essentially marketing marketplaces for you as well. So if you're a restaurant listening out there, certainly look into this new list feature. I'm sure it would be beneficial to attract some more bodies. All right, well, that was my quick bite, and now it is time to get into the guest interview. So talk to you soon, Adam. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now it is time for our guest interview with Gracie Prasanson. She is the VP of Sales at Jason's Deli. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Really appreciate it. I'm really looking forward to diving into Jason's Deli, your off-premises operations, and just so forth, and what you guys have cooking over there. But to start off, Gracie, I would love to get to know you more. Can you give me a bit about your background and what kind of led you into your role today at Jason's?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been with Jason's Deli for 25 years. But prior to that, I have a lot of restaurant background. That's all I've done. I've done mostly full service, 24-hour operations. I did IHOP, I did a stint at Denny's, Cracker Barrel, and then I was looking for a change and just something different. And I stumbled upon Jason's Deli. And so I started out in the operations side of things, and then quickly found that I just loved the upbeat, challenge, fast pace of the catering side of the business. So
Mhm.
I quickly switched over to that, which led me into my role today. Right now, I currently am the VP of Sales, overseeing all of the off-premise side of our operation, not only our first-party channel, which is a very large part of what we do, but also our third-party channels as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely the right person to talk to for this interview with Food on Demand. So excited to dive into that with you. Tell me a bit about Jason's Deli's footprint. How many locations do you guys have? Are you doing, you mentioned catering. Are you doing drive-through? What's that look like for you on your end?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So we currently have 241 locations and we're in about 27 states. The thing that's a little different about us is we're about 70% corporate and 30% franchise. So some of our markets are corporate, the majority of them. And then we also do have a mix of franchise markets. Our footprint, we're huge. If you go into a Jason's Deli, you're going to find we seat about 250 people in our dining room. So we have a very
Okay.
large salad bar, self-service on the drink station, as well as we have free ice cream whenever you dine in with us, which is a wonderful treat. But we also have really leaned into the off-premise side of the business as well. So now we open locations. A lot of them do have drive-throughs. We found that that is very important convenience for our customers. We also have curbside that we utilize for those folks when we don't have a drive-through available for them. And then just recently, we've opened a couple of off-premise only locations. So we have
Interesting.
one in Scottsdale, Arizona. We have one in Cincinnati, and then we're getting ready to open our third one in the Houston market.
Speaking about off premises, you just mentioned you guys have really gotten into that now, opening some locations that are, only off premises. Can you kind of tell me about how that demand for off-premises has changed over the recent years and tell me more about those adaptations you've made?
I will say that we've been catering and delivering off of our dine-in menu for over 43 years. So
Okay,
we
okay.
have been doing it long before COVID or, long before all of the third parties entered in the space. So it's always been a very large part of what we do. So after COVID and when third party really started taking off, it was just like a normal adaptation to the business that we currently do today.
Hmm.
Our menu's definitely built for it. It travels well. The changes that we've made, of course, is just making sure that we're streamlining our operations so that this new addition to business and the increase does not affect our dine-in customer or even our to-go customer. We do self-delivery as well. So really utilizing those third-party channels as a complement to what we do, but not utilizing them solely for what we do. So I would say COVID and the increase in third-party off-premise deliveries have been very good for our business. We're built for that, so it's been really an easy transition for our operators and for the third-party companies.
Sure. And knowing that you've been doing delivery for so many years prior to kind of the wave that where everyone got onto it with pre after the pandemic and during, can you kind of tell me a bit about that hybrid model you now have? You said you do some in-house delivery as well as third party as needed. I know some restaurants are eyeing that as a model or attempting a hybrid model. What does that look like on your end?
So, because we've been doing it for so long, we have a lot of internal drivers, and
Mhm.
our catering customer has a certain level of service that they expect from us. So, we run a couple of different models. We have some stores that will have all Jason's Deli drivers, and then we have some that will do a hybrid. We do partner with DoorDash Drive, and they help supplement our delivery fleet as needed. Our We want to say yes to every order that comes through. So if we are not able to fulfill it with one of our drivers, we will definitely utilize DoorDash Drive to help us fulfill that. And then there's some situations where maybe there's not enough volume for having an internal driver in the evening. So we have a lot of our stores that will have third party integration turned on for the evenings and weekends to fill
Mhm.
those smaller orders when we're not having a big influx of catering. Um, but we definitely try to make sure that our customer, whether it's Jason's Deli delivering or DoorDash, that they're getting a good level of service with an on-time delivery and a complete order.
And how does technology play a role in this? Knowing, it's important to be able to, attract digital guests, retain the digital guests. Can you tell me about that side of the business as far as what your tech stack might look like to streamline your operations?
Yeah, absolutely. When we first started with the third parties, we were on tablets, and we quickly learned that that was very challenging for our
Yeah.
operators, for our customers, everyone. So we're with NCR Aloha, and we definitely have always had online ordering. We've been doing that for quite some time. So our first priority was to get integrated, making sure that our
Mm.
third parties were integrated just to streamline the process for our internal and external customers. And then, of course, the online ordering, we have app ordering, and then we also added curbside. During COVID, we found that our customers they still like having that as a feature. So we've implemented that into our app as well.
Great. And your loyalty program, what does that look like for Jason's Deli? Do you guys, yeah, just kind of tell me about your program and how that's helped attract and retain the digital guest.
Yes, absolutely. Customers, you want to be able to connect with them and cultivate a relationship with them. So we definitely utilize our loyalty program for that. We have a Deli Dollar program that we partnered with Punch on. And so that's all integrated into our POS, our online ordering system. But we found that that has been a really great way to connect with the customer, to meet them where they're at, and to really help position items that are of interest to the customer versus just doing a blanket sweep or send out of something, really targeting things that are of interest to that consumer.
Are you able to access customer data and help utilize that for your marketing or your loyalty?
We are. We have our loyalty program that we definitely utilize for that. But then we also, on the off-premise side of things for the catering customer, we also utilize Salesforce, and that really gives us a little bit of insight into the accounts and the contacts. So we kind of do a hybrid of both of those.
And I wanted to get into catering more. I know that's a big focus for your role, but as well as at Jason's Deli. Let's talk about catering. Catering has really had a resurgence, it seems, in the past few years. And can you tell me a bit why you think that is, and what's the demand been like for on your end with catering?
No, absolutely. We have very high average unit volumes, and a lot of that is because we do have so much first party delivery. So
Yeah.
probably 20% of our first party sales, 20% of our overall sales are going out just on our own direct channel of delivery and catering. So that's a very high number. So we've always been in that space, but I will say that the entrance of third party has definitely changed the catering space. Before it was like Jason's Deli, Panera, pizza, Chinese, and that was
Hmm.
kind of like what you were limited to or what you had to choose from. But since third party has entered the space, especially on the delivery side of just offering, the delivery service in addition to the marketplace, it's really allowed anyone to offer catering and delivery as a part of their business model, which I think definitely changed the space for those who've been in it a long time, because now you're not just competing with a handful of competitors. Everyone can primarily be a competitor now. If they have the ability to deliver, then they're definitely an option in that customer's mindset.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting. The amount of businesses that are now jumping on catering, maybe even for the first time, as you just mentioned. We think about marketplaces like an Easy Cater, for example, where can help get these restaurants on board for the first time and get some views that they're offering catering, which wasn't possible before. However, you mentioned that a lot of your catering is done through your first party channels and through your own staff, which is, I'm sure, the ideal want for most restaurants. Do you use any third-party marketplaces for your catering as well?
We do. We're partnered with Easy Cater.
Sure.
Easy Cater is a very good partner, and we do find that they're bringing you have different customer groups. Like a DoorDash customer is a DoorDash customer, and I think a
Hmm.
Jason's Deli customer is a Jason's Deli customer. And Easy Cater, I think they bring a different customer than the Jason's Deli customer. We see a lot
Sure.
of pharmaceutical reps, maybe some larger distribution companies. So I think that we definitely value the partnership that we've built with them. And we find that it complements and does not
Yeah.
necessarily take away from anything that we're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hear that a lot with operators, it's the add-on needed for them. Tell me a little more about the operations for your catering. What does it look like when a catering order comes to Jason's Deli, when it is fulfilled through your own first party?
Absolutely. So we are same day, last minute. So probably about 65% of our business comes in same day. So every location will have a delivery coordinator, and they're the ones who are upfront. They're making sure that when an order comes in, the first thing they're going to do is they're going to print out a bag sheet and make sure anything needed for that order is included. We have the right amount of PFN, dressings, anything that you might need to complete that order. We have a checklist. Our internal drivers help complete things like making dessert trays, fruit trays, vegetable trays, things like that for
Mhm.
orders. And then we gather it as quickly as we can. We try to do a 90-minute turnaround. So if you need to feed 50 people and you called me and you said, "Hey, Gracie, it's 11 o'clock. I need to feed 50 people," we could turn that around for you, no problem, in less than 90 minutes. So all of our systems are built to help us support that. We have front areas where we stage things. When you walk in to a Jason's Deli, most of the time you'll see the to-go area, and that's really kind of like the whole hub for all of our off-premise and catering business as well. If we're doing an internal delivery, the driver will make sure that the items are placed in insulated bags. They'll take them, they'll deliver them. If we're using a third party delivery driver for an order, then we in turn follow the same systems, but we would stage it on the shelf for them. And then they in turn would provide those types of bags that they need to use to make sure things are at proper temp for delivery.
Right. Yeah. And that was what I was going to ask next, which was about how do you aim to ensure quality with delivery, and so forth. But it sounds like the packaging is a big part, making sure there's not missing items and so forth.
Yeah, we've been doing it a long time, so we definitely have a lot of like checks and balances in place. It's
Sure.
very difficult, when something is left off an order for the person who placed the order and is standing there. You deliver a sandwich tray and stuff, and you don't have plates, forks, and napkins. It can be problematic for the person who's hosting the meeting and chose to use Jason's Deli. So we even have crash kits in our drivers' cars that would contain things that are sometimes maybe left off an order, like cups or plates, or maybe iced tea kits for sweeteners. So we definitely have some checks and balances in place to be able to make sure that we're delivering as on time and accurate as possible.
Well, the pros know what they're doing, it sounds like. And it's something so simple like that, like a little having extra things with a driver. Not many restaurants do that, but that probably solves a lot of those small little discrepancies.
It really does. It can be
Hmm.
a saver, especially in time. If you're 20 minutes and you have to go back and forth, that could be 40
Yeah,
minutes with the customer, and you can't recover from that very quickly.
right, right. Great. Well, anything else on catering you're looking forward to or that we haven't mentioned that's really helped streamline that side of your business?
I would say just continuing to make sure that we're focused on everything that we put out being in support of what we do best, which is same day, last minute. Our food is extremely high quality, so we continue to always make sure that we're bringing on innovative, fresh products on the catering side. We just recently launched our salad bar. So we've always had a salad bar on the dine-in side of things, but we didn't have it as a catering menu option. So we just recently added that. And then we've really gotten into mixing in some LTOs for the holidays. So right now we have a whole fall menu of just like fall features, like a harvest turkey sandwich. We have a pumpkin coffee cake, a carrot cake. So that's something that we're really trying to do, is just keep Jason's Deli fresh for the seasons, as well as continue to bring what is best in-house to our delivery customers as well.
Yeah, menu development is interesting. So you mentioned that you do some seasonal items and add fresh items often. Is that across your menu or just for your catering that you have those promotions?
We do it on both sides. I think we
Mhm.
probably do it a little more frequently on the in-house side, and then we do it on the delivery side as well, but more probably during peak holiday times like summer or fall and the holidays.
Have you found that to be really beneficial for consumers? They're really attracted to these new items or these holiday promotions. I know some operators are hesitant about adding menu items or trying new things here and there.
Yeah, I mean, I think you have to definitely we have our own R&D and test system. So we'll
Hmm.
always test things a year before rolling it out. So for
Sure.
example, the harvest turkey sandwich, we tested that last holiday season to see how it
Okay.
went. But with Jason's Deli, when we're doing a lot of business for regular meetings, you really want to make sure you're able to position yourself as something special during those holiday times as well. We don't want to be, oh, we have Jason's Deli all the time. We want something special. So we want to be able to offer that something special during those times, so that we are in the consideration.
Sure. Yeah. Well, that sounds exciting. We have the holidays right around the corner, so I'm sure it's a busy time over there on the marketing side. What are some challenges still faced, whether that's Jason's Deli or maybe in general in the restaurant industry that you're hoping to maybe see solved or looking forward to in the near future?
I would say twofold. I think that on our front, on the sales side of things, you've got to go out and you've got to cultivate relationships with customers. And, what does that look like in 2025?
Yeah.
The person who's ordering food, they're much more digitally savvy than maybe the one, than in the past. So I think the consumers' behaviors are definitely have changed, and it's definitely made them more open to an email outreach or even meeting via Zoom with,
Mhm.
a catering client who you might be interested in gaining their business. So I think just really figuring out like what is the right balance on that of making sure that you're not too digital, but you also have systems in place to really cultivate a relationship and help take that catering client from a lead to a customer to a high-end user. You definitely just working out those systems on the sales side. And then on the delivery side, or on the other side of it, I would say just really finding tech stack that removes any friction for your customer. I think that we've come a long way in a very short period of time, but just continuing to make sure that you're doing that and that you're differentiating yourself and making sure you're leading with who your brand is and what really sets you apart from everybody else in such a crowded space.
Absolutely. And that's something I hear a lot from operators. The market seems almost oversaturated with all these options for your tech stack or different solutions you might need, whether that's, online, internally, or back of house. And so, yeah, any other advice on that? And just when you're looking for the right tech stack and you're looking to maybe upgrade or just look internally at what you have going on, what's the best steps for that?
For us, I think that we just recently sourced a new online ordering provider. So we've just got on, we've
Mhm.
just we're right now we're in the middle of integrating with Olo. So we're working through that project for our company. But the most important thing for us was to make sure that we don't remove anything from the customer that we currently offer. For us, we have individual group pay. That's something that we offer that a lot of people do not. So we really want to make sure that we don't take anything away from a customer that they're used to and that they expect from us, and that we really just make the user experience easier when we move to a new platform. We definitely don't want to go backwards. So I think those are the two biggest things for us is making sure we don't take anything away from a customer and that whatever we're giving them is enhancing what we already do.
So you mentioned that you have corporate owned and franchise owned for Jason's Deli. If anyone's interested in getting involved with franchising, how do they go about that? And any advice on that front?
Yes, they can definitely. You can reach out at our website. Reagan Edgerly, he oversees our franchise partnerships and the franchise side of our business. So please reach out. We're always looking for great partners that can help us to grow the brand.
Fabulous. We love to hear it. Okay, Gracie, is there anything I didn't cover when it comes to what's exciting at Jason's Deli or that you're looking forward to in general with the off-premises landscape we're seeing today?
Yeah, I would say two things that really help us grow our off-premise landscape in our communities and really cultivate strong relationships is our community partners program. We have a wonderful community partners program that is just for the schools K through 12 and the houses of worship in our communities. And a big piece of that is a discounted menu for any events that they're hosting for staff, faculty, congregation, etc. And then we also have a wonderful game day program, which has really helped us to increase our off-premise side of the business with schools in the sporting program. So
Mhm.
before, parents are like, oh, we want to feed the team. How do we go about that? We have a wonderful game day program that we just send you a link and you're able to order your kids' meals for the entire season. You can do it for one game or for the entire season. And that's been a really good program that we've leveraged to continue to drive our off-premise in those non-peak hours of time. Like if you look in the
Yeah.
afternoons, it's pretty slow. All
Mhm.
of those athletic games are happening in the afternoon. So it's really
Yeah.
helped us take a tech stack, add it in, and really drive business during a non-peak time.
Yeah, that's really interesting when you think about community engagement marketing and, involving your community and the benefits you can see from that as you guys are.
And it does help because with catering, you're really through Monday through Friday,
Mhm.
during the lunch hours, sometimes in the afternoons for snack breaks or, breakfast. But in the evenings, weekends, really being able to grow those other shifts of your business with your catering and delivery is really important when you're trying to grow your average unit volumes.
Fabulous. Well, thank you, Gracie, for all the great advice you gave throughout this conversation. We are now moving into our fun little segment I like to do at the end called Did You Leave Room for Dessert? Where I like to ask just a few random questions to our guests to get to know them better outside of their roles and their businesses. So if that's okay with you, we can dive into that.
That sounds like fun. Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Gracie. So my first question for you, when you're not helping run this successful business, what are you doing for fun? Do you have any hobbies, secret talents that you'd like to share?
I don't have any secret talents, but I definitely have some hobbies. I love dabbling in home decor. It's a
Love
big
it.
passion of mine. I love decorating for the holidays. I have two Australian Shepherds. They're the
Oh,
same age. And so they keep me extremely busy with walking and playing and they keep me on the go all the time.
I'm sure. I love Australian Shepherds. They're so beautiful and they're very high energy, so I'm sure that they keep you on your toes.
Absolutely.
I love it. All right, next one is it might be a little difficult, but what is your go-to karaoke song if you had to pick?
Oh, that's so easy.
Oh, good,
Mama
good.
Goes Crazy by the Judds. It's an old country song, but if ever I'm in a situation where I need to do a karaoke or feel like contributing, that's definitely my go-to.
I love it. I love it. I'm happy that was a quick one for you because you never know. Some people are like, I don't do karaoke, but I'll sing some karaoke, and it sounds like
Me
you will
too. I
too.
love it. I love it.
All right. And my last question is, where do you love to travel to? Do you get to go there often or any plans to revisit?
Okay, so my absolute favorite city in the US is Chicago.
Hmm.
Amazing food, shopping, it's so walkable. So I do an annual trip every year for my birthday. My daughter, I have a 32-year-old daughter, and so we do mother-daughter trips there. And every December we go. So I actually just booked our December trip for the 5th through the 6th to go back to
Yay.
Chicago.
So fun. That sounds awesome. Well, I hope you guys have a great time. And those are my few fun questions, Gracie. Before I let you go, is there anything I didn't mention at all that you like to mention about Jason's Deli?
We just launched our new look at Jason's Deli. So
Ooh.
we just opened a store in Plano, and it has
Hmm.
the whole new look of Jason's Deli. So if you're in the Plano area in Texas, stop in and take a look. It looks amazing, and our customers are giving rave reviews on it.
Awesome. Well, if you're listening and you're near there, check it out. So, okay, Gracie, well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on as a podcast guest, and I look forward to keeping up with Jason's Deli and your growth and what you have going on next.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This has been great. I really enjoyed it.